my dear chartered accountants, I am Professor Jigar Joshi, would like to welcome you all in JK Shah classes. Chartered, today we are going to discuss about the amendments for May 22 student in paper number 7, part A, EIS. So Chartered, if we look towards, just have a look for it please. Paper 7, it's your EIS SM Chartered, and today we are going to discuss about the amendments of EIS. Okay, yes sir. As such people, if I do refer the chapter number 1 and chapter number 2, there is no amendments at all. Agree? Yes sir. Exactly the things are same. Let me tell you one thing very clearly over here. In chapter number 1, we used to refer the one concept called as data related risk, that we had already referred in chapter number 3 chartered. Okay, under the people concept called as logical access threat. So I hope people all remembers those, that nothing new it's there. Logical access threats from chapter number 3 got shifted into the chapter number 1 under the head called as data related risk. There is not even a single change exists in chapter number 2. But my dear chartered accountants, for chapter number 3, chapter number 4 and chapter number 5, minor changes are there. When I am saying minor changes, it refers to what? In chapter number 3, few concept or few explanation inside the particular content or topic has been changed. So my dear charteds, now we are going to see the amendments of chapter number 3. Let's have a look for this please. Chapter number 3 people, as you all know, it's an information system and its component. The first change is people, that is within the answer, within the content of explanation of controlled on the basis of IS function people. Okay, yes sir. Management control. Chartered, do you remember management control? Yes sir. I'll just give you the quick reminder. Okay, yes sir. We had referred to something, the concept called as what? Sir, controls. Divided into 3 parts. Yes sir. On the basis of objective first of all. Yes sir. On the basis of IS resources. Yes, and third one on the basis of IS functions. Earlier they used to call it as on the basis of IS audit, but now they are calling on the basis of IS functions. Now on the basis of information system functions chartered, we are having management control and application control. Correct chartered? Yes sir. In management control chartered, if you do remember, we were having the multiple controls in it. Correct? Yes sir. We are going to refer the people second controlled out of it people, and that's called as what? Sir, system development management control. Agree? Yes. So in SDLC people, they had made the changes. So we are going to refer that SDLC only. Other controls, that is a top management and IS controlled, are people same. There is no need to change over here. Okay. So even third PDLC, program development life cycles, is the same chartered. Fourth one comes to people, obviously it's a database management control. We are having the small changes over there. We are going to see those. So let's begin people our journey with a one by one. But top level management and IS management controls, no changes. In SDLC, system development changes are there. We are going to refer it chartered right now. Should we? Yes sir. The system development chartered management control. We know very well chartered system development is nothing but it's all about what? Sir, analyzing, understanding, identifying and then implementing the information system in an organization. We know chartered that multiple program development management, okay, that is a PDLC, okay, when they are clubbed together, we are having what? Sir, system development management. Agree? Now system development management controlled is having multiple activities. We are going to list out people all those activities which we need to understand for developing and designing the system development management control. The first and foremost one chartered, it's what? Sir, it's the problem identification and feasibility assessment. Try to identify the problems area people. Whatever the major issues which we are facing in the organization, we first need to identify those. We need to make and we need to design and develop this system to resolve that problem, or sometime if our existing system is there but we would like to upgrade it people in the best manner to take the competitive advantage, then also people, the first and foremost requirement is what? Sir, is the problem identification and to try it out, understand it about its feasibility, that how good valuable it is. whether it is people economically affordable or not. Agree, charters? Let's have a look. Information systems can be developed to resolve the problems or to take the advantage of opportunities. All the stakeholders should understand the possible threats and associated possible solutions for asset safeguarding, data integrity, system effectiveness, and for the system efficiency. So we need to understand, chartered, that what exactly problems we are facing, what are the exactly opportunities are there in the market. Because many times it's not only the threat which asks you to change the system, but many times it's opportunity also, chartered. So don't think every time negativity. It's possible chances, people, that if we implement the upgraded system, we may get the certain extraordinary advantage over our competitors. Say this: the feasibility assessment is done to obtain the cost effective solution for our problems that have been identified. All the solutions must be, people, justified and must be feasible enough to accept it. Second most important thing, it's started, if we already have this system, then try to understand that system, try to analyze the existing system. And when we analyze the existing system, chartered, two major activities we do perform. First of all, chartered, existing organizational history, structures and culture, to understand whether the such changes are needed or not, or if the system is properly in its place, only small upgradations are needed or not, that we need to identify. Second, sir, studying the existing product and information flow, and it helps the designers to understand our what, sir, strength and weakness of the existing system. So when we are analyzing the existing system, we come to know, people, what are the good side about it and what are the sides which we really needs to upgrade it in order to reduce the loss. Am I very clear to you? I mean to say negative sides. So first one, chartered, sir, obviously it refers to problem identification and feasibility assessment. Second, sir, analyzing the existing system. Now it comes to, chartered, information system processing design. In this, chartered, first of all, we need to identify the requirement. We should always make sure that, chartered, our stakeholders and their people input must be taken, understood, from these stakeholders, that what kind of system we should develop, how it looks like, what are the options we want, what are the menu we want, how it should function like, people. Agree? Yes, sir. Second, chartered, for this, once the system is determined that yes, this kind of system we want, we need to understand, chartered, how the data is going to be entered into the system, or whether we are going to use the predefined data. Okay, yes, whether we are doing internal source of data, chartered, or the external source of data, or both, all things must be properly designed, chartered, how the information will flow from the one department to another department, and that can be easily done, people, with the help of what? Sir, data flow diagrams. So number one, chartered, it's very important. Once again, I'm taking you to the past, people. Problem identification, that is a problem definition, and feasibility assessment must be done. Second, existing system must be evaluated properly, chartered. Third one, sir, the information processing system must be designed carefully by taking into consideration identifying the requirements, designing the data and information flow, designing the database, and the user interface. What is user interface? Sir, basic screen through which the system is going to interact with the user, and that's called what? Sir, interface. Agree? Yes, sir. Database, which type of database structure we would like to use? Like, people, we know very well multiple types of database structures are there. Yes, yeah, no? Yes, sir. Like, we can maintain the hierarchical database management system, network database management system, relational database management systems. Kind of database structure we need to decide. Yes, sir. Finally, sir, physical design will be taken into consideration. Okay. Yes, sir. And moreover, people, we are going to design what? Sir, hardware and the software platform for bringing this system into reality, chartered. So obviously, we come to know that system development management team work has now been increased. In our earlier question, people, they had given a very limited activities to them, but now, people, they had given the updates and amendments, and they covered the even the, a small segment of that system development area. So let's try to understand, people, once again. Number one, sir, it's identifying the requirement of the stakeholders. Number two, sir, designing the data and information flow. Number three, sir, it's a designing of database and screen interface, that is user interface. It comes to physical designing. And finally, sir, for physical designing, we would like to support it with the help of what? Sir, requisite hardware and software platforms. Am I very clear to you? Yes, sir. Next one, chartered, it comes to hardware software acquisition and Procedure development. Now chartered, it's very important. Many times under the system development management, earlier we always used to have a in-house designing system where we used to design the hardware also and software also now within the organization only. But nowadays nobody prefers that people. Maximum people prefers what? Sir, acquisition. Ready-made softwares are available in the market. We must need to prepare what exactly the software vendor its people propose to give, how good they are for my organization, its feasibility charted, its application in my business organization, and ultimately I should go for a final decision. See this charted. To purchase the new application system or hardware, a request proposal must be prepared, quotations must be checked, and the final decision is made based on evaluation of those quotations, people. During the procedure development, designer specifies the activities that the user must undertake to support the ongoing operations of the system and obtain the useful output. Once the system is ready, people, either through acquisition or people in-house development, there is a need for what? Sir, testing and conversion. Acceptance testing is carried out, people, to identify the errors and deficiency in the system prior to its final realize into the production use. So before it's getting live, it is needed what? Sir, we need to check it very, very, very perfectly, sir. Further, sir, the conversion phase comprise the activities undertaken to place the new system in operation. That means the new system must be converted very perfectly that suits to our requirement. And last but not the least chartered, it's operation and maintenance. Periodically chartered, this system must be checked on a regular basis to identify the loopholes into the system, to see that where major changes are needed, chartered, and kind of. So this is the one and only one change, people, which is there in the management control chartered, called as system development life cycle, system development management controlled. Other controls relating to management, they are as it is, no major changes are there, so please don't worry about it. The only one thing which you need to change, which I had already explained to you, that is acquisition of the system and implementation of the system into our organization. Am I very clear to you, charteds? Yes, sir. Second chartered, if you do remember, in the same line we were having what, sir? Application related controls also. Correct, chartered? Yes, sir. In which, people, we are having boundary controlled? Yes, sir. Input controlled? Yes, sir. Process? Yes, sir. Output? Yes, sir. Storage or the database? Yes, sir. And communication. Agree? Yes, sir. This all controls, people, we had already studied under the application control, in which chartered the major changes are expected, and as it was, people, introduced also under the boundary controlled and people database controlled. Agree? Yes, sir. And this database control related questions, people, they had put it into the RTP also. Okay, so please take care of this too. Only two changes are there which we are going to discuss it. Don't worry about it, chartered. Okay, sir, no issues. Now the concept comes, people, what? Sir, application controls. We know very clearly, chartered, application controls ensure that our software application system means what? Sir, our software works very fantastically. We want, chartered, my application should be perfectly taking input, perfectly processing the data, perfectly generating the output, and delivering this output to the concerned authority in the well perfectly designed form, chartered. We should make sure that, chartered, that our application control should be designed so perfectly, chartered, that the data leakage and unauthorized access could be prevented in a well manner. Am I very clear to you? Yes, sir. So let us try to understand the first one, chartered, and that's called what? Sir, boundary controlled. The first control, chartered. See this, chartered, whenever there is an application is there now, we would like to protect this application from 360 degree. We don't want, people, any Tom, Dick, Harry to enter into this application and people to damage the data or to deteriorate the data or to diminish the value contains in the software. And for that, chartered, the first and foremost control which we need to apply, it's the boundary control. Obviously, the institute has carried out the previous concept as well into this, but they had tried to introduce, people, some new concepts, so we are going to refer this answer. Okay, so don't worry about it. There is nothing new, chartered. Boundary controls are the control which is designed to provide overall security. Agree? Yes, sir. Now, the first one chartered, as we know very well chartered, it's a cryptographic controlled. And that's nothing but it's all about chartered encryption. Encryption refers to what chartered? Please do let me know. Sir, encryption refers to converting the normal text, okay, into sir ciphertext cryptogram, and its strength, it's purely depend upon what? Sir, the time and the resources used by the cryptanalyst to decrypt it. Now charted, suppose if I encrypted some data, okay, and the person who was now gonna decrypt that, okay, has taken the people, tremendous time for this. So what other peoples will give the review about my encryption? Sir, encryption was at class level. Agree? Yes, sir. So that's a very simple thing, chartered. Encryption actually helps us people that this data does not fall into the any unauthorized person. And even if the unauthorized person access this data, he will not enjoy the value out of it, people, because this data, it's purely done what? Sir, encrypted by using the techniques, maybe chartered transposition or substitution, or the product cipher, that is combination of transposition and substitution, where the letters are people changed with its position, or people where the letters are substituted with the some another position. It's called as transposition and chartered, very important one, substitution simultaneously. Understood? Example I would like to give you. Suppose A, B, C it's written, and now people it will be taken as a B, C, D. So A becomes B, B becomes C, and C becomes D. This is something we can call it as what? Sir, it is purely called as a transposition. Understood? Yes, sir. Any doubt, any queries, any confusion? Sir, not at all. Fully cleared? Yes, sir. Another, it's like people, we are also having what? Sir, substitution. Cleared? Yes, sir. Where we replace the text with some key text, different text charted. Again. Second very important one comes to what? Sir, access controlled. This control is designed charted so that the application could be used by only and only genuine person. Example people, very simple. Do you have any banking application in your phone? Yes, sir. We do have. And chartered, please tell me, is any Tom, Dick, Harry can access it? Answer is no, sir. Because it has a 3-level protection, sir. It does the identification, that is proving the user ID, people. Authentication, you need to enter the password mechanism, people. Nowadays, so we are also having biometric identification like thumb and finger impression, people. Eye retina scans, iris scanners, we are called it as, people. So first is identification, second is authentication, and third chartered, it's purely authorization. Authorization, it's what? Sir, authorization refers to level of access. Understood? Sir, not understood. Could you please? Yeah, chartered. I hope everybody uses the Truecaller. Yes, sir, we are using Truecaller. Now, Truecaller says that create your account. We said, yes, bro, we are going to create the account. They said, whenever anybody is calling, I'll immediately identify the name of the person and I'll put it on your screen if the call is coming from any unknown numbers. Correct? Yes, known numbers, your name, whatever the name you had given, that will be obviously shown by your device only. But I'll give the another name if it is there then. We said, okay, bro. But chartered, every day, Truecaller gives you one notification that so and so person from so and so city had seen your profile. Would you like to know about him or her? Then please click on the link below and pay amount to me and I'll show you. So that is what? My level of authorization chartered is limited, that I can only access the person who is calling to me. But if anybody has checked my profile, if I would like to know, obviously this information access is restriction. You pay the money and we will give the authorization for that also. Am I very clear to you? Yes, sir. So certain areas are restricted, people, in the form of like read, write, print. We had already referred chartered VCAP. View the data, create the data, alter the data, and print the data under the chartered what? Sir, RBAC, chapter number 2. Yes, sir. Based on which the sir permission will be allowed to the users. Clear, chartered? Yes, sir. Discretionary and mandatory access control we had already referred in chapter number 2, the same series, same explanation they had given to us. The third one, people, we can protect our application by using what? Sir, personal identification number. Even though chartered as compared to PIN, we always give the priority to password. Yes, because passwords are more secure than the PIN, because PINs are just the people random numerical numbers. Correct, chartered? Yes, sir. And there is a great possibility, chartered, that the PIN could be easily, okay, remembered by the another person while you are entering. but the password is the combination of alphanumericals with special character. But still chartered, many applications could be protected with the help of what? Sir, PIN. But while chartered, several phases of the life cycles of pins we also need to understand. How the pins will be generated, how it will be issued, validity and termination, people. If the device is changed, transmission of pin across the communication line, do we send it through mobile lines or not? Yes. Processing the pin chartered, whether the pin are kept within the strict guidelines or not. Storage, change, replacement and termination of pin. Understood? Yes, sir. Further chartered, the next very important concept comes, and that's a digital signature. I hope maximum of you chartered remembers and what is exactly, I mean to say maximum of you chartered understand and knows what exactly the digital signature is all about. If not, let me people guide you very clearly. Digital signature looks like just a pen drive only chartered without any further changes. Understood? Yes, sir. We have this type of what? Sir, digital signature. So wherever you want to sign people or wherever you want to give your authentication, nowadays the devices are also coming, people, in which tremendous data gets stored. But in order to operate that device, okay, they are asking us what? Sir, digital signatures. So remember, chartered by any means, if electronically, okay, electronic identity gets confirmed na chartered, then it's called as electronic signature. Understood? Yes, sir. Electronic signature. And digital signature is a part of what? Sir, it is a part of electronic signature, because electronic signature covers chartered all. It covers PIN also. Yes, sir. It covers chartered PIN also, password also. It covers chartered biometrics also. It covers digital signature also. Understood? Yes, sir. So digital signature is also one of the method, people, by which the legal identity or the people authenticating identity will be confirmed of the authorized user, and based on which chartered the access will be given. See this. Establishing the authenticity of a person and preventing the denial of message or contracts are critical requirement when the data is exchanged in an electronic form. A counterpart known as a digital signature, a string of zeros and ones, people, is used as an analog signature for such e-documents, people. With the help of digital signature, people, we are very much secured, because these signatures cannot be, people, forged or cannot be made duplicate. Understood? Yes, sir. Furthermore, chartered, we are also having what? Sir, plastic cards. Obviously chartered. Along with the PIN and digital signature, we are also using what? Sir, plastic cards. That is basically, people, your RFID based card. RFID refers to radio frequency identified based card. Or sometimes even it contains the barcodes also, chartered. Understood? Yes, sir. Whenever we scan it, people, automatically it understands the authenticity. We may require to enter the PIN in order to get the double step authentication done, and if it is genuine, application will be operated, will be allowed to share the data, will be allowed to receive the data, and many more activities, chartered. So this is all about what the boundary controls, chartered, which includes number 1, chartered, sir, obviously cryptography controls. Number 2, sir, it's a access controlled. Number 3, sir, it's purely PIN. Number 4, sir, it's digital signature. And 5th one, it comes to purely chartered, our plastic cards. Am I very clear to all my dear charters? Yes, sir. Moving to the second important concept, chartered. As I had already, people, promised to you that we can find it out, people, 2 major changes. One is in the boundary, sir, that we had covered. Now we are going to see, chartered, database controls. A very, very, very important control, chartered. Please remember. Okay. Yeah. Earlier, people, institute had already, they had in the May attempt, okay, May 18 attempt, 19 attempt, if I would like to say, they had given the complete and full detailed explanation for database control. Then for next 2 years, people, they had reduced the substantial part from this database control. And again, they had introduced it. Okay. So nothing new, people. It's just like we always say, people, okay, that history repeats. And same thing is over here. Now, chartered, try to understand, whenever the software creates the database, creates the output, chartered, okay, that must be required to chartered, given with the strong sense of security, people. We don't want that this database should be accessed by any person, people, especially I would like to say unauthorized person. We would like to maintain the data integrity also, chartered, and we should ensure that all the database must be properly protected, must be preserved, people, and must be stored in the very, very, very perfect way. So let's try to understand chartered what controls do we really need to implement in our application in order to enjoy the secure database management system under the database controlled. Say this chartered. The first one, access controlled. Now what do you mean by the access controlled? Sir, database access should be only and only allowed to the genuine person. The person, those who are not the authorized to access it, never ever allowed those person to access the data. So this charted. This control of the database subsystem seek to prevent the unauthorized access to and use the data. A security policy has to be specified, followed by people choosing an access control mechanism that will enforce the policy chosen. If the database is replicated, the same access control rules must be enforced by access control mechanism at each site. Second one charted, sir, integrity. Its accuracy, completeness and uniqueness must be maintained charted by implementing what? Sir, integrity controls. Integrity controls charted clearly mentions one thing. If the database you want to update it, even with the updated database, we are going to follow the proper and strict standard that no unauthorized data entries will be allowed. That's true, sir. Number 3 charted, it's a application software controls. Amazing one. This is something new. Please have a look for this, people. When the application software act as an interface to interact between the user and the database management system depends on the application software to pass across the correct sequence of command and update the parameter. So between me, that's a user, and system, that's an application, in between we are having what? Sir, database management system. So charted, if suppose there is a 5 columns are there, name it's there, email ID it's there, mobile number it's there, father name and mother name it's there. Whenever I am updating the data now, the same sequential order has to be recorded in the application also. Application should not replace people mother name with a father name or mobile number with email ID. Understood? Yes, sir. Number 3 charted is the concurrency control. That's a real-time access people to the same database should be maintained in what? Sir, in a very perfect way charted. Understood? Yes, sir. Concurrency controls, you can also say is people concurrent control, immediate control. If anybody updates the database, regarding the such updates people, a proper database or entries must be generated and informed to the concerned authority. Example I would like to give you people. Suppose if you are sending the mail to somebody, okay, yes, you are getting the real-time notifications over there. Yes, if the mail is not delivered on that email ID people, within the 2 to 3 minutes, okay, you will get the message on your screen that delivery to this email ID is failed if the email ID is wrong. Correct? Yes, sir. Same way chartered, if you are sending the WhatsApp message to someone, okay, and read recipient is on. So in that case people, if the person reads your message, you will get the blue tick. Yes, yeah, no? Yes, sir. So that is what? Sir, concurrency controlled. Further charted, we can apply the cryptographic controls also, that is converting the data into encrypted form. We had already discussed under the boundary controlled. Yes, sir. And next one charted is the file handling controlled. It is very important charted to prevent the accidental destructions people, the data content on the storage medium. We should have the file handling system people, in which we are going to create the one additional database. Proper backups charted. Understood? Yes, sir. Next one charted, we are coming to the output controlled. So charted, as I said, the major changes were there into 2 basically, okay. That's first one people we had covered boundary, and second one people we had covered it's what? Sir, purely database controlled. And now charted, we are going to see output controls. Okay. Yes, sir. So charted, let's see the output controls now. Okay. So this people, it is very important whenever the data is processed in the application now, okay, application generates what? Sir, output. We need to ensure that charted, this output must be properly formatted, must be properly presented charted, and obviously charted. Formatted refers to what? Must be properly people given in the form as we expect charted, as well as charted presented, and mostly people delivered to the concerned authority only. We don't want charted that the output should be delivered to wrong person. Now output could be into the both the forms charted. It could be a hard copy or it could be of soft copy also. Understood? Yes, sir. The first and foremost control charted which we need to implement, it's what? Sir, it is a inferences controls. Inferences controls refers to very simple thing charted. Many times we do not want to give the information to the person about the every small if and buts. We just would like to give them the people one aggregate view of the statistical data rather than the value of what chartered, sir, individuals. Understood? So we are using what, sir, interference controls. This will ensure that chartered the perfect and proper, see this is used to prevent the compromise of statistical database from which the user can obtain only aggregate statisticals rather than the value of what, sir, individual data items. These are the restriction control people which limits the set of responses provided to users to try to protect the confidentiality of data about the persons in the database. Agree? Second one, my dear chartered, it comes to batch output production and distribution control. Now chartered, these controls were already covered in the previous question itself, I mean to say, in the old textbook, but few amendments are there, so let's refer it, chartered. First of all, chartered, the batch output in the form of like tables, graphs, images, etc. is produced at some operation facility and distributed to user of the output. Certain controls we need to implement over there, like number one, report program execution control. Let the only authorized person should be allowed to people create the output. Don't allow any Tom, Dick, Harry that they can create the output, chartered. Otherwise the data leakage chances would be increased. So only few people are allowed people for what, sir, to execute the batch reporting programs to be get it done. Second very important, chartered, it's a spooling file controls. We know, chartered, spooling refers to what, sir, step by step, one by one, okay, simultaneous peripherals activity. So all those documents which are currently getting printed over the printer people, we also would like to prepare the list of documents that are waiting to be printed on a particular printer. Understood? Yes, sir. And we don't allow the printers, chartered, the permanent storage, otherwise it will lead to what, sir, hacking. That's an unauthorized modification. Agree? Yes, sir. Third one, chartered, when the batch output control is produced, we should also make sure that the printing control must be there. Select the right printer. Make sure that the print copies are done only for the requisite papers and not to all the papers. Make sure that, chartered, correct printer selected, because if the printer is wrong and data gets printed on the someone else printer, chartered, might be data leakage chances increases. Next one, chartered, sir, report collection control. We should, chartered, make sure that the reports are collected immediately and secured to avoid any unauthorized disclosure or the data leakage. Once got printed, immediately people put it into the safe custody. Further, sir, the time gap between generation of the report and delivery of the report should be minimized to a great extent so that the report does not fall into the someone else hand. Further, sir, user output controlled. A review from the user must be taken on a timely basis whether they had received the report or not. Storage control, chartered, must be there to ensure that the output is appropriately and perfectly stored, which is in a complete secured environment to protect the data from unauthorized hacking and people access. We also make sure that, chartered, we are going to maintain this report for a given period of time, and after that people, it is required to be completely destructed. So that's a retention time period for which we need to retain that document and then go for the destructions. Agree? Yes, sir. Same all the content people. Earlier we discussed in the batch form, that's a physical reports. And now we are going to discuss it about the online output. Say this, online output production and distribution controls. Okay? Yes, sir. Output at source, distributing, communicating, receiving, viewing, retaining and destructing the output, but in an online form. That's it. No major differentiation, chartered. So that's a very simple. Yes, chartered. Source control, we need to identify from where this documents or output is getting generated, people. Okay. Yes, sir. It must be, chartered, required to be authorized area from where this output gets generated. Second, sir, distribution controlled. Unauthorized copying of this online output will lead to what, sir? Destruction, and thereby we need to make sure that the distribution is done in a very safe and secured way. Like government, whenever they are sharing the data, people, related to your financial statements and others, they always use password protected files. Yes, sir. Communication controls, just to people reduce the attack during the transmission. That is a asynchronous attack when the data isn't moving from people whom, sir, from sender to receiver. Then receipt controls, people, output should be accepted or should be rejected, must be evaluated, chartered. Online, somebody when sends file to you, people, okay, maybe through email or anything, whether to download or not to download, people, whether to accept it or reject that, it's purely in your hand. Correct, chartered? Yes, sir. Next one, sir, review must be done. Disposition control, chartered. that is educate the employees not to people accept every request available online or not, what kind of action should be taken when the content is available online. Further, how much to people, how much time we are going to retain that online documents started. You know, generally if your father is making an investment into mutual fund, you can ask to him people, and he'll say that the whenever many companies are there, okay, not all but many companies are there, they give you this statement in your email account, and that statement people retains only for 3 days on their server. After 3 days they delete that. Understood? Yes sir. And deletion control charted, delete the output once expire. Same way charted, in this they had explained us batch reporting design controls. Design features should comply with the controlled procedure people, so that design must be matches with the batch size also, and people well designed batch size will help us to flow the data without any hindrance or without any effect. Agree? Yes sir. And here we comes to an end of our people very important one called as output controls. So that was the people third major change which we had covered under the chapter number 3. Fourth major change charted. Earlier for all application controls na charted, whenever it comes to auditing, they used to answer it only 2 things. That is the people what? Sir, we remember those things. Could you please? Yes sir. That is accounting audit trail and operation audit trail sir. Yes, but now the people answer is slightly changed. Based on the application control framework charted, we will see the responsibility of auditor now. Okay, so that's the answer of what? Sir, audit of application controlled. Am I very clear to you? Yeah, it's a small question people which is a change. So let's try to remember it. Let's try to refer it as the earliest. Yes sir. So this number 1, sir, auditing boundary controlled. Now charted, just right now we had referred the boundary controls. Yes or no? Yes sir. Boundary controls are purely designed people for what? Sir, protecting the asset. And what type of asset charted? Sir, data asset sir. Information asset. Database asset. Yes charted. See this. Auditor needs to determine how well safeguard of assets are used to preserve the data integrity. For any application system in particular people, auditor needs to determine whether the access control mechanism is properly implemented or not, or any Tom Dick Harry can access it people, whether proper password management is there or not. Careful control must be exercised people over the maintenance of the activities, and auditor needs to address the very important one, cryptographic key management. How the keys will be generated, how it will be distributed to user, and how people they will be installing the cryptographic facility, how everyone is going to encrypt their database while they are sharing charted. Okay. Yes sir. We need to understand the approach people which is used in the people access controls, and if there is any changes are needed, then the such will be recommended by the auditor. Second control people obviously comes to what? Sir, input control. Because whenever we are taking the input charted, auditor needs to make sure that the good source documentation system must be there. We don't want charted any source document. Source document means what? Sir, voucher, basically through which I am going to enter the data into my system. So I just would like to ensure myself that whatever the database I am gaining or I am getting, that must be coming from the reliable source. The data which I am capturing must be coming in the accurate form. Say this. Auditor must understand the fundamental of good source document design, okay, so as to analyze what and how the data will be captured and by whom and how the data will be people prepared and entered into the computer system. Yes sir. Number 2, sir, auditor must be able to examine the data entry screens used in an application system and come to judgment on the frequency with which the input errors are likely to be made. Okay. Yes sir. So data entry will also be checked people. Yes sir. Further charted, very important one. Very important one. Quality of the people coding system used in the system must be checked in the application to determine what? If the coding is good charted, its system effectiveness, system efficiency objectives could be easily achieved. Agree? Yes sir. Audit of controls comes from what? Sir, we need to understand the controls very properly. If charted you had studied the controls properly now, audit of controls becomes so easy for you. Yes sir. Auditor needs to people comprehend various approaches people. Yes sir. Used to enter the data into the application people. Yes sir. We need to make sure that the data whatever we are entering into the system must have its own proper strength and weaknesses that were identified. Try to people reduces the weaknesses of the data capturation system, and we need to approach the database management system in the very perfect way so that only accurate input will be accepted. Then chartered, it comes to obviously communication controlled. Yes, sir. Auditors should adopt the structured approach people to examine and evaluate whether all the communication controls are working perfectly or not. Whether our internet system, whether our data communication system, maybe local area network, routers, hubs and everything chartered must be checked properly. Say this, auditor needs to collect enough evidence people to establish the level of assurance that the data transmission between the two computers, okay, in a wide area network is being accurate and complete. No database gets people fall into the someone else hand, or unauthorized access is not there. We are maintaining the proper data integrity. Further chartered, we must ensure that the adequate network backup is there. If the primary network is not working, we must have the secondary network system people. We should also have the controls that include automatic line speed adjustments people, modems, based on the noise level and the people choice of network topology. We just would like to make sure one thing chartered. My communication should be smooth, error free people, ensuring that the all database must get people privately transferred and privacy must be maintained. Yes, sir. Processing control chartered. We should always ensure that our all processors, okay, are working completely and perfectly, and no unauthorized person people can gain the access to the such sensitive data. Auditors should evaluate people whether the common programming errors that can result people in incomplete and inaccurate processing of data has been taken care or not. Why? Because sir, if there is a programming logic is there, if there is a processing logic is there with errors, then obviously sir, entire database gets processed wrong and we will have wrong output only. So auditor needs to evaluate the performance people and make sure that all the processors are working effectively, efficiently and in a 100% accurate manner. Okay sir, there should be a people checkpoint and restart controls must be there at the facilities to make sure that in case if there is a system failure, we will be able to restart the system once again from the beginning. Further chartered, we had just currently finished with our database controlled. Yes sir, auditor needs to ensure that people there must be a proper mechanism for storage of this data. We should ensure that people properly, regularly, okay, yes, protected during all the backups and recovery activities chartered. Yes sir. Second, auditor should check the proper documentation and implementation of their decisions chartered. So this, auditor should comprehend the backup and recovery strategies for restoring the damaged or destroyed database in the event of failure. Understood? 100% sir. For how many days this data backup has to be maintained people, its integrity could be maintained with the help of cryptographic controls or not, has to be sir identified by the auditor. Agree? Yes sir. And last but not the least chartered, output control should determine people that programs are allowed only to be used by authorized person or any Tom Dick Harry can access it people. Output control we had referred it right now people. Yes sir. Auditor should also review the action privileges that assigned to authorized user. Okay. Yes sir. Based obviously on their job requirement. Chartered, this point is important. Auditor must evaluate how well the client organizations are provided controls in terms of alteration of the content. How many number of copies you can print, how many times the printer allows you to print people, this could be restricted chartered. Yes sir. So output does not fall into the someone else hand. Am I very clear to you? Yes sir. And chartered, here we comes to an end of our chapter number 3, updates. One more thing which I would like to bring to your notice people, in chapter number 3, when it comes to the concept called as a logical access control, correct? Yes sir. As I said people, 2 questions were there. Okay, what is logical access control is obviously there, and the second question, okay, I'll write it down. Wait. What is logical access control? Okay, this is there in the syllabus charted. Yes. Then we come to know people violators of logical access control. Now this question has been people removed from the syllabus. Oh sir, that's great. Yes. Number 3 people. Now logical access threats people, as I said earlier, that this question they had removed from chapter number 3, but it got shifted to chapter number 1 under the people data related risk. Agree? Yes sir. And 4th question people, logical access control measures. It is there in the syllabus. No change. Understood? Yes, sir. Hereby, people, our chapter number 3 amendments comes to an end. So, my dear chartered accountant, let's try to understand the amendments for chapter number 4 in EIS paper. Chartered, in chapter number 4, there are no major changes, but obviously there is a one small change that's there, that is the introduction of a new payment method, and one completely new concept we have to learn called as a blockchain technology. Along with the small changes, minor changes are there. We are going to discuss about it. So first of all, chartered, when I am discussing about the digital payment method, the first major change which the institute has introduced people, and that's a e-rupee payment system. Now many people are knowing about it, sir. What is exactly the e-rupee? Government of India has launched to people this payment system. Obviously RBI is going to launch, but under the guidance of Government of India only, people. Yes, sir. It's completely chartered cashless and contactless digital payment system, in which people, it is purely based on UPI system only, that is a unified payment interface system, people, and ensures what, sir, completely leak proof fund transfer. Like example, people, if I would like to say, suppose if the central government has decided, people, okay, that they want to give the some benefits to each and every child of a government employees, say for example school fees, okay. So people, one string message will be created, that is SMS string based voucher will be there, or people QR code will be generated which will be delivered to them, okay, and this QR code will contain the entire details charted. What they are supposed to do, they are supposed to take this voucher, people, directly to the school, ask them to scan, or if there is a SMS string, so a school is required to enter the number, and directly the funds from the government will be transferred to directly to that school. So people, there is no need to move the payment via. Understood? Yes, sir. No middle third parties will be there chartered. Directly payments will be done. And most important aspect of this e-rupee payment, it's there. People, it is purely purpose based payments will be there. If chartered, suppose for vaccination, the e-rupee vouchers are issued to you, then it could be utilized only and only for the specific purpose. Say for example, people, if the government of India has decided, okay, to give this some important vouchers to government employees, then people, only they can use it. They cannot transfer it to somebody. Point number 1. Number 2, chartered, it will be used within the specific timeline. That's another benefit, chartered. And number 3, it would be used only and only for the specific benefit, chartered. The benefit, obviously, if you want to enjoy, you can encash it, or otherwise, people, it will be automatically expire. Agree? Say this. Through which the funds will be directly transferred to people their bank account. These vouchers are person and purpose specific, meaning if they are released by the government for the purpose of vaccination, for instance, then they can be redeemed only for that, people. This contactless e-rupee is easy, safe and secured, as it keeps the details of beneficiary completely what? Confidential. Sir, that's a very interesting one. So apart from people, all other payment methods like we had already referred, I'll just try to remember, people, all those payment methods. IMPS, yes sir. UPI, yes sir. Aadhaar enabled payment system, yes sir. Then people, very important one, okay, yes sir, that's a e-rupee. Right now, people, we had referred, yes sir. So e-rupee. Also chartered, we are having USSD, unstructured supplementary service data. Yes, sir. Mobile application BHIM. Yes, sir. This all are the people what? Sir, digital payment methods. Along with that, sir, CC, cryptocurrency. Understood? Yes, sir. So e-rupee voucher, people, was one amongst them. The digital payment newly introduced by Government of India. Completely safe, secured, effective, and most importantly, chartered, contactless, person specific or purpose specific payment system. Agree? Yes, sir. Now chartered, the very important concept, people, comes in front of our eyes, is called as chartered blockchain technology. Now what do you mean by the blockchain technology, chartered? To understand this concept, let us take the very simple example, okay? Yes. Suppose you and your 9 friends, altogether 10 friends, had decided, people, to play cricket. Okay, sir, 10 players are there. And obviously, people, no teams wins will be prepared, okay? No team. We are only just playing, people. Sunday cricket, everyone will get the batting, everyone will be doing bowling, okay? All rounder, all the persons. Okay. So 10 people wants to do what? Sir, they wants to play cricket match. That's a great idea, Chartered. Yes, sir. Sunday relaxation time, sir, we want. But major problem, it's like, Chartered, who is going to maintain this cricket scoreboard? Sir, there is a problem. In that case, my dear Chartered, suppose, okay, you had selected a one small kid over there, okay, studying in 8th or 9th standard, okay, his name is Mr. Raju. You selected Raju, you asked Mr. Raju, Raju, will you maintain this scoreboard for all of us? Raju, it's like, yes, I will, but you need to give me one Cadbury for this. We are like, it's okay, bro. Okay. So we decided people to give the complete authority to whom? Sir, to Mr. Raju to maintain the scoreboard. Correct, Chartered? Yes, sir. Remember, people? Yes. Now Raju, it's ready. Raju, it's like, bro, I'm going to maintain the scoreboard. Yo. But Chartered, you people are smart because you are chartered. Yes, yeah, no? Yes. You decided to give one more chocolate to Mr. Raju. Raju, it's agree? 100%, sir. Incomings are always free. So Mr. Raju is provided with one more chocolate. But the condition is that whenever, if I got out now with the LBW concept, don't say yes. Everybody say, okay, it's not to worry about it. Now Mr. Raju is having a good people. What right now is we are considering him as an umpire also. Okay, I know people is obviously a small kid, can't understand, but we have to take it into consideration. Just an example. Okay. Yes, sir. Now people, you had offered what? Sir, some bribe to Mr. Raju. Yes, sir. For this, the Mr. Raju agreed also. Okay. Now people, cricket match is going from the last 1.5 hour. We all are people enjoying that match. We are, cheer up and enjoying kind of people full on. Yes. But in between to the same Chartered, Mr. Raju's mom appear. Understood? Yes, sir. Mr. Raju have to leave people that ground immediate effect because mom is there. I hope it's clear to you. Yes, sir. So Raju gone. But people, when the Raju gone now, not only he has gone people, but along with that our entire scoreboard, sir, left the premises, sir. Now what to do? Sir, it's again, sir, we have to start from zero, sir. This is, sir, disaster, sir. So what we can do, Chartered? Sir, let me do one thing. Okay. Now the solution for these people, because here we are having only one centralized authority. Now centralized authority can do the corruption. Yes, sir. If the central authority people completely got damaged, deteriorated, or people becomes defunct, non-functioning, then Chartered, the whole system will be completely come to standstill. We don't want this. We don't want any single authority to make the rules and regulation and keep the people, eyes on us. Because even they can indulge into the fraud. Yes, sir. So what to do, Chartered, in this case? So all these 10 players had decided that now we are going to maintain the scoreboard by all of us. We are going to maintain all scoreboard. It's like suppose if there is a people first ball and there is a 6 run, everybody is going to shout people. 1 ball 6, 1 ball 6, 1 ball 6. Understood? Yes, sir. Now people, what happened? Sir, nobody maintains the entire record, but everybody maintains the record. And this is Chartered, the system where we had created the separate blocks. And here we are coming under the concept called as blockchain. So blockchain technology is nothing but it is a purely Chartered, very important one, decentralized method of database management system, and thereby it is called as Chartered distributed ledger technology, where nobody owns the entire data, but everybody maintains the data. Everybody can have a people complete visualization to that data. And blockchain technology people, it's so secure, Chartered, that every time we do the transaction, one block of that transaction will be created. You cannot modify that block. You cannot change the data into that block. Even if you try to alter it, it will lead to completely creation of new database. Sir, 30% cleared, but something it's not cleared yet. How that block is created, what is this block and all? Could you please explain it? Yeah, Chartered, let me explain to you. See this, Chartered, we know very well that now we are discussing people purely on the blockchain technology, okay, how it works. Suppose if the Reserve Bank of India, okay, has decided, Chartered, to, inject 1 lakh rupees in the economy. Now obviously people, to inject this 1 lakh rupees, okay, RBI is required to print. Yes, sir. So block will be created, chartered. First block, always remember, has only two information: creator and transaction amount. Okay. So here who is the creator? Say for RBI, and RBI created this under the batch 01. So block RBI 01 is created. Yes, sir. With a worth of how much, chartered? Sir, 1 lakh rupees in it. Okay, chartered? Yes, sir. Agree? Yes. Now people, RBI is not going to keep this money with themselves now. They are going to distribute it. So say for example, to 2 government employees, chartered, we had made the payments. Okay. Yes, sir. So from this block only, chartered, these 2 new blocks will be created. Sir, what are you saying? Yes, chartered. Okay. Yes. Say for example, people, the first payment is received by government employee 1. So here we are having the people G1. Okay. Received how much? Say for example 50,000 rupees, chartered. Yes, sir. From where? Sir, from RBI 1. So people, always remember, the first state will indicate, chartered, new block name or new block number. It will cover the, chartered, transaction value or transaction data. And third one, chartered, previous data or previous block details. Understood? Yes, sir. Second amount is paid to government employee number 2, chartered. So, sir, one more block gets created. Yes, chartered. Containing how many details? Sir, 3. G2. Yes, sir. Amounting to rupees 50,000. Yes, sir. Purely coming from, sir, RBI 01. Now, chartered, you people remember very clearly that RBI 01 was containing the worth of 1 lakh. Yes, sir. And the entire amount got what? Sir, completely distributed. So this block, people, will be now finalized. No further modifications can be done into this block. No modification can be done into this block also and into this block also. If any modification is done, it will amount to what? Completely new blocks to be created. Understood? Now out of 50,000, say for example, people, this person has created, okay, 20,000 rupees FD. So obviously FD is going with whom? SBI Bank. So say for example, we are having SBI branch 01, okay, amounting to, sir, 25,000. Money is coming from, sir, G2. Like this, chartered, the database will be maintained. So there is a no chances, not even a single chance, chartered, that the database could be leaked. This is the most simplest way, chartered. I had tried to explain you the blockchain technology. Blockchain technology is far different, people, okay, when it comes to actual practicalities, people, because that blockchain addresses, if you ever, people, try to remember, you could never ever be remembered. Okay. Yes. In the whole world, people, who is having how many cryptocurrencies, that could be easily understood, but obviously the missing thing, it's only one, and that's what? Sir, whole world don't know who is G1 and who is G2. Entire world know that G1 is having 50,000 and G2 is having 50,000, but nobody remembers, chartered, or nobody actually knows who is G1 and who is G2, and thereby there is a no centralized authority, people, to manage this blockchain system. Understood? It has its own specific advantages also, chartered, and disadvantages also. We are going to discuss both of these, people. So let us begin with our journey, chartered. See this. Blockchain, sometimes referred as a distributed ledger technology, is a shared peer-to-peer and decentralized open ledger of transaction system with no trusted third parties in between. Agree? Yes, sir. Okay. This ledger database, people, has, every entry as permanent. It is a, people, what? Sir, it is appended only database which cannot be changed or altered. If you try to change, it will purely recorded as what? Sir, new transactions. Understood? Yes, sir. Further, chartered, these transactions are irreversible, people. The decentralized network refers to the network for which is not central controlled, is there, chartered, of any bank, corporation or government. Am I very clear to you? Yes, sir. Further, chartered, simple analogy for understanding the blockchain technology is like Google Docs. Yes, sir. We can create the document and share it with a group of people. Yes or no? Yes, sir. The document is distributed instead of copied or transferred. Yes, sir. And this creates a what? A decentralized distribution chain that gives everyone access to the document at the same time. Yes, sir. Now, Chartered, if you remember this small thing now, you will be able to understand the blockchain workings. First one, sir, a transaction like sending money to someone is initiated. Yes, sir. Second, sir, transaction will be broadcast to the network that this person is transferring this much amount to this person. Yes, sir. The network will people validate the transaction using what? Sir, cryptography. Basically, Chartered, it's a very strong level of encryption is used. Yes, sir. The transaction is represented online as what? Sir, one of the block, and then this block will be added to the existing blockchain system and transaction gets completed every time. Sir, it's an amazing technology, sir. Yes, Chartered. Let's try to identify where exactly they are used. Okay. Application areas, Chartered. First one, sir, financial systems or financial services. Blockchains, Chartered, can be used to provide the automated people trade life cycle in terms of transaction log of any transaction or assets or property. You want to maintain it, people, physical or digital, everything could be maintained over there. Are you clear with the same thing? Yes, sir. Second one, sir, in the healthcare sector also we can use to securely transfer the data of patients. Yes, Chartered, see this. Blockchain provides secured sharing of data in the healthcare industry by increasing privacy, security and interoperability of the data by eliminating the interferences of any third party. Third one, Chartered, government is using it, people. Okay. Yes, if you are from people Maharashtra state, okay, they had come up with a one very interesting and innovative. I don't know about the other states, so I don't want to make any comment, people. Universal traveling pass, which collects the data from your COVID application, people. Okay, where you had registered with your mobile app and got vaccinated, people. It will allows you to generate the people vaccination certificate, people. Understood? And it becomes your universal traveling pass because it's purely based on blockchain technology only, Chartered. Say this. At the government front, there are the instances where the technical decentralization is necessary, but politically should be governed by the government, like land registrations, vehicle registrations, Chartered, and its management, e-voting. For this, Chartered, blockchain technology could be used. Very soon we are expecting, Chartered, property passbook system, PPB, in which, Chartered, your all the property belongs to your family will be recorded, Chartered, in the one passbook. Whatever the property you are selling, that will be also recorded, Chartered. In short, no one people have any undisclosed property with them. That's great, sir. Further, Chartered, travel agencies can use it, people, to store and your important document like passport, visas, identification card, reservations and insurance and etc. Chartered. Economic forecast, if you want to do, people, blockchain technologies make it possible for the financial and economic forecast to be based on decentralized prediction market, people. Further, sir, what are the risks involved in this? Then, Chartered, different risk appetite and risk tolerance. Chartered, this risk are very important. Please concentrate because this form the part of people RTP. Okay, so concentrate. With the use of blockchain, organization need to consider risk with a wider perspective, as different members of a particular blockchain may have the different risk appetite and risk tolerance. Now, Chartered, everybody's risk taking ability it's not same. Agree? Yes, sir. Chartered, if there is a one person who is hardly a salary earner, people, for him even 5,000 rupees matters a lot. But when I am talking about the people Ambanis and Adanis, 5,000 rupees, sir, they don't even consider it also. Agree? So risk tolerance level is what? Sir, different. But blockchain is using what? Sir, static level of controls. And Chartered, everywhere we don't want that static or fixed level of controls. Say this. That may further lead to conflict when monitoring the controls are designed for a blockchain. Understood? Yes, sir. There are questions, people, about who is responsible for managing the risk. If no one party is in charge, and however the accountability will be achieved in the blockchain, that's a question mark. And that's the reason, Chartered, we always say that investment in cryptocurrency is a risky. Why? Because we don't have any centralized authority who is managing it. Second, Chartered, major risk is what? Sir, whenever we are saying now my system is secured, obviously the hacker says, please hold my keyboard. Understood? Yes. Generally, Chartered, it has been seen that there are the many consequences are there where the entire mechanism has been tampered with, or people, when data which we are keeping in the database system by using the blockchain, but if these blocks are tampered with, Chartered, again there is a problem of what? Sir, inaccurate and completely unreliable books of accounts will be there. Third major problem charted which we are facing, it's a what? Sir, difficulty in understanding the controls only. Because we don't have any centralized system charted. Nobody is there to decide the protocols for the system. Nobody is amending the system time to time. Nobody is updating the system time to time charted. So how everyone would come to know about the controls? What controls we need to apply in order to minimize the risk? Say this. In the absence of any central authority to administer and enforce the protocol amendments, there could be a challenge in the establishment of development and maintenance of process controlled activities. In such case, users of public blockchain find it difficult to obtain the understanding of general IT controls they need to implement. Fourth major chartered, major risk, and that is a people, humongous amount of data and updates. Getting this data updates so frequently, people, it's very difficult chartered. It's a really a challenging task because tremendous amount of data gets created under blockchain system in every minute. And to manage this much data, store this much data, to process this much data chartered, it is generally beyond the capability of any small computers. So we need to set up the tremendous proper supercomputers kind of technology chartered. Then only we will be able to manage the blockchains effectively. But chartered risks are there. So in order to reduce the impact of risk, there is a need to apply what? So there is a need to apply the controls. Let's try to figure it out chartered. What kind of controls we should implement in our system to minimize the impact of what? Sir, risk of blockchain technology. First one, there is a computerized monitoring system should be used rather than the people traditional manual techniques, because manual techniques may have people certain limitations, but if it is computerized systems are there to continuously monitored this large amount of data that is getting processed, okay, and the frequency in which they get processed, people, we will be able to get the reliable result. Second, sir, suitable data analytics procedure must be there to constantly and continuously analyze the data which it obtains, and to get the support people from the management that how the business process should be done perfectly, effectively chartered. Third, ongoing communication must be made people to develop and to ensure the operational challenges and the updates. We should have the one proper mechanism chartered which will constantly and continuously prepare the list of controls that we really need to implement in our business concern in order to protect our data from the blockchain related risk. Yes, sir. Further, sir, unique aspect of blockchain is consensus protocol. Smart contracts must be done, and this controls must be chartered, verified very thoroughly. We don't want chartered the access to this kind of smart contract should be given to everyone. No, it has to be restricted chartered. And last but not the least, every person must be chartered given with the proper knowledge chartered. Say this. Both internal and external auditor shall be engaged people in the discussion during the development or identification of a blockchain so as to make the management understand the typical auditability issues associated with the using blockchain. Am I very clear to you, charteds? Yes, sir. So this was people all about the blockchain. I request you people to pause the video here only, refer the content of blockchain very clearly, and then proceed further for the next question. So my dear charteds, moving ahead to the next concept now. People, they had given us the small amendment for the forces behind the e-commerce revolutions that we had already referred it people with the content called as recent trends in e-commerce. But there is a slight changes they had given people. So let's try to understand about these changes. You know people that e-commerce market is growing like anything. The whole world is demanding about only and only one thing, and that is what? Sir, let the business should be done purely electronically, because traditional business are having many limitations, and I want to come out of those limitations people. I would like to expand my business, okay? I don't want any geographical boundaries, and thereby chartered there are the many factors which are enforcing every business organization to take their business over the internet. So let's see people, what are all those people systems. First and foremost one chartered is what? Sir, it is a proliferation of mobile device. That is a tremendous use of mobile device chartered. Users are completely moving from the desktop to what? Sir, mobile devices. You know chartered, more than 55% of the entire internet consumption is done through mobiles. So businessmen are clearly understood that if I would like to get the attention of the users now, I have to develop the mobile application, without which I can't. They started people attracting the consumer by not only giving the information earlier they used to give in the printed form, but they started making the people videos of their product, so that they can send the small videos of the product people to attract the customer. Shoppable videos, and using the images, people will make that content what, sir, more and more and more interesting. Yes, sir. Further chartered, very important one, studying basic style, studying and using the people technological keywords and trying the new trends is very important. Second, very important one, convergence of mobile communication network people and the internet. Try to understand people. Today, India is about to people launch 5G. Testing phase is already going on. Very soon we are having it. From 2G to 3G, 3G to 4G and 4G to 5G. Fifth generation network people. Internet, it's becoming what, omnipresent. Everywhere internet availabilities are there. And especially people, this internet has resolved the one major problem. It's what, sir, time availability issues. Sir, how? Say for example, people, 8 o'clock movie show, it's there and it's already 7. You are stuck into traffic. You know very well, chartered, that you are going to reach by 8 o'clock only, okay, and then you don't have a time to book the tickets. Not to worry about it. Mobile applications are there. Internet is omnipresent. Just book it online and enjoy the movie directly. Yes, sir. Number 3, chartered, the major change which we are looking towards further, it's the tremendous use of social networks. Businessmen have clearly understood that people are spending a lot of time on the social media like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube and etc. And without disturbing people, their social media platform, businessmen are trying to solve from the same platform people, making business easy to grow. And people, this social media does not only benefits the businessman to get what, existing customer, but it also helps you people to acquire the new customers from the market. Yes, sir. Further chartered, biometrics technologies are nowadays being used into the system, because we know very clearly, chartered, this biometrics are helping us a lot, chartered, to maintain the highest data safety and data security. Earlier we used to maintain WhatsApp PIN or the pattern lock or the password, but nowadays, chartered, we are allowed to make our fingerprint as our people what, sir, authentication signature, iris scanners, voice detection started. So biometrics verification becomes what, sir, recent trend and technology that actually help us to enjoy safe and secured access of internet and chartered e-commerce sites. Agree? Yes, sir. Next one, people, we are also using artificial intelligence like chatbot and other people. This artificial intelligence agent will answer all the questions asked by the consumers. This chatbot as people actually reduces the work of whom? Sir, customer care agents. Earlier, for every small requirement, we used to people call to customer care agent, and organization needs to manage the huge staff to manage this customer request. But nowadays, people, whenever we open any website, okay, we find it out, people, someone chatbot over there. Like example, in Apple, we are having Siri also. They are the best example of artificial intelligence. Well-designed chatbots, people, can increase your shopping experience a lot. They are very interactive. They are very superb in communication, chartered. Amazing one. The major next important concept, chartered, which you should not miss, people, that's a predictive analysis, chartered. Nowadays it becomes very important to understand or to predict the customer's taste, habit, preferences, choice, likes, dislikes, shopping habit, payment habit, etc. And based on which, chartered, you can target the right audience with the right product at the right time. But for that, you have to collect the huge data of customers. Now in traditional market, it's very difficult. But in e-commerce market, people, we can also analyze amount of time which the consumer has spent on a particular e-commerce website or web page, I mean to say. 110%, sir. And last but not the least, chartered, even government would like to, support you with a lot, and there are many good proper policies and procedures are defined by the government, people, making the people IT Act very strong to protect the data of e-commerce vendor from unauthorized access and hacking related issues, chartered. Also enhances e-commerce business, people. So that's it from my end, people. These are the changes which is there in the chapter number 4. Am I very clear to you, charters? Yes, sir. So my dear chartered accountant, after clearly understanding the chapter number 3 and chapter number 4 amendments, we are moving towards the last chapter amendment, that is amendment given in the chapter number 5. Now chartered, as such, once again I would like to say the same thing. In chapter number 5, no major amendments are there, but only in a question, okay, that's a recent technology component of people CBS, we are having only 2 to 3 points addition in it. So first one, chartered, I'm damn sure people you had referred the concept very well, people of chapter number 5, and you remember the key technology components. The number one we are having, it's what? Sir, database environment. It's purely people database server, correct, chartered? Yes sir, in which all the database of the branches are stored, including employees data, customers master data, interest rate, chartered, penalties to be charged, entire thing it's there. If any branch would like to make any entries, people, they will grab the data from central database server only. So database environment is required to be kept in a very secured, people, and avoid every type of what? Sir, unauthorized access. Second chartered is application server. We remember application environment? Yes sir. In this chartered server we are storing what? Sir, application. Banking application like Finacle, Fin1, FlexCube, Bank, Bankmate kind of applications, people, we can host over there, and we should make sure that people, that application server will be having, people, proper firewall system in it. So no unauthorized entries, people, will be accepted by this software. Yes sir. Now people, this too though we had already covered in the previous session also, like means in the regular portion also. So sir, what is the amendment over here? Amendment is the, people, point number 3. Now in point number 3, people, what they actually did, they had just changed the, people, little bit text and re-implemented it for us. They said there is a need for what? Cyber security, because we know, chartered, that core banking system, it's purely operating through what? Sir, it's purely operating through internet only, and thereby, chartered, a very strong amount of safety and security standards must be implemented. Yes or no? Yes sir. Some of the key features, chartered, of cyber security frameworks which is prescribed by RBI are divided into 2 parts. First is chartered network security. Yes sir. And second is chartered application security. Now when I am talking about the network security, chartered, what I am supposed to do? Sir, all the network related components like proxy server or maybe chartered firewall, routers, switches, hub should be properly installed, regularly verified, ensuring that, chartered, they are generating the genuine results. Say this. Multi-layer boundary defense through properly configured proxy servers, firewall, intrusion detection systems to protect the network from any malicious attack and to detect any unauthorized network entries must be there. Second, sir, to ensure that secured network configuration and proper use of routers, hubs, switches must be done. Third one, chartered, as it is a network system on which the entire core banking system businesses depend. So regularly, chartered, we need to make sure that my network system is working effectively and efficiently. For this, I need to identify my strength as well as my weaknesses. On weaknesses, I need to make a proper hard work so that weaknesses do not become the reason for compromise into the network system. Yes sir. And finally, chartered, identification of the risk to ensure that the risks are within the bank's risk appetite level. Agree? Yes sir. Second, chartered, in order to ensure the data definition, that is confidentiality, integrity and availability, people, of the data, we must need to implement proper application security. Now for application security, people, a long list is given, but here I would like to recommend you to remember any 5 points out of it which is very important. Okay, chartered? Yes sir. Like first one, chartered, the bank should have its own proper email domain system from which they are going to send the emails, chartered. They should also have the proper anti-phishing system, people, through which all the mails which we are giving to our customers properly verified, properly checked, and then only, people, it will be moving. Second, chartered, two-factor authentication must be kept on, like one extra step must be added apart from, people, 2 steps, like suppose Mr. A would like to access the internet banking, we are saying please enter your login ID and password, but along with that we are going to send on mobile number one OTP. You have to enter that code, or maybe fingerprint, or maybe any other, people, things we are going to add or attach to it, people, and that's called what's a two-factor authentication. We should also make sure that chartered there must be a proper password management policy. Educate our employees chartered about the securing the best password for them. We should tell them people how they can make the safe and secured password, how effectively they are going to use the password, so that people, we can make our application more strong, more perfect, more better chartered. Not only about the people password, but the training also plays very important role. Maximum time the problems which arises, it's due to people lack of training. So chartered effective training to the employees must be there. Educate them to strictly avoid clicking any links via email. Make sure that only and only genuine email links should be clicked. Okay, yes sir. Further, as I said, people, huge numbers of methods they had given to protect the application security. You need to remember any 5, that would be enough chartered. Okay, yes sir. Further chartered, proper reporting mechanism must be there. So if anything goes wrong, people, immediately we require to inform to senior management, so that the senior management can take timely decision, people. Understood? Yes sir. Further chartered must be conduct the effective due diligence and people oversight to thoroughly assess the credential of vendors and third party service providers. Like today, people, we are taking internet from somebody else, we are taking chartered application from somebody else, we are keeping our data with the database service provider who is someone else. So chartered, we need to ensure that all those people, those who are supporting in my e-commerce business, or maybe I would like to say in core banking system to operate, I need to make sure that they should cooperate me in a secured manner. Just they are giving the technology, it doesn't mean that chartered I should not keep a control on them. I need to regularly assess, I need to regularly verify whether they are giving the effective and efficient services for my banking system or not. Next, chartered, as we always say, the proper changes must be there. Effective changes must be implemented on time to time manner. As Jigar sir always says one thing, chartered, change with a change before the change will change you. Say this. Effective change management process must be there, people, and we need to record, we need to monitor this change, people. Yes sir. Strong configuration management process must be there, chartered. If anybody would like to make any changes into the component, then that has to be required to be passed through superior password system, chartered. Yes sir. All these are the controls chartered, which we had already studied in a general concept. Now they had clubbed under the word called as application security. So please do remember, because might be for 3 marks they will ask you application security only. Yes sir. Incident response management mechanism must be there, chartered, to take the appropriate action for any cyber security incident. Yes sir. Capturing the audit logs, people, to pertaining the user's action and to see that whether that action was legal or they were trying to people hack the system. And last but not the least, chartered, continuous surveillance system must be kept on to keep the eyes open, ears open regarding the system's effectiveness, system's efficiency and system use, so that every type of risk, people, stay away from my business. Third one, chartered, data center and the disaster recovery centers, people. These are very clear, chartered. Backup, strong backup must be needed, chartered. We need to ensure that all these servers at the data center, because data center means what? So data center refers to place where all the servers are kept. So whether it is a people application server, whether it's a people web server, whether it's a proxy server, whether it is a internet banking database server, whether it's a internet banking channel server, all ATM channel server, all servers, people, must be kept very, very, very strong and effective manner, chartered. Yes sir. There should be, people, adopt the full-fledged documentation and prepare the necessary manuals in order to get the proper disaster recovery procedure done. In case of people primary system gets failed, alternate connectivity system must be arranged. Am I very clear to you? Yes sir. And last but not the least, chartered, online transaction monitoring and fraud risk management. It is a very, very, very important, chartered. Regular assessment must be conducted. Proper audit must be there. Proper continuous surveillance system must be attached, chartered, in every aspect of the banking system, and logs must be captured. Database must be maintained, chartered, to avoid any type of people risk. Am I very clear to you? Yes sir. And here, chartered, our chapter number 5 amendments also comes to an end, chartered. I would like to wish you all the very best for your upcoming exams. Thank you, chartered.